We need higher consciousness in the world, and we need folks with higher consciousness to have success on every level, right? To be able to really live from that place of fullness that you know is true in your heart. So we want to match that interior knowing with your external reality, and those are learnable skills. You know, the book, Everything Is Figuroutable, that really is the truth. So if your heart is calling you to turn this incredible idea, this calling into a profitable business, small business, medium, or large,
I am so excited. Marie Forleo, who I just love, she is the best-selling author of Everything Is Figuroutable and the founder of B-School, and just a sweetheart, is back on the You-est You show, and she is sharing her own story of starting from literally nothing to creating a very, very profitable, beautiful, amazing business that is serving thousands and thousands and thousands around the world. And I want to share, we're going to talk all about how to help you, especially if you're an empath, light worker, conscious coach, healer, spiritual entrepreneur, and you want to take your heart-centered work into the world. You've got to listen up. B-School, the summer edition of B-School, which is super fun and you have lifetime access, is about to begin. All the information will be in the description and the show notes. But I wanted to share, I went through her program almost a decade ago. I thought it was life-changing. And because of that, I am an affiliate of her program. I highly recommend and endorse her heart-centered work. And I only support things that I've done and that I love. And so I'm going to share all of that information, the links, check them out, YouTube, wherever you get this podcast. If you have questions, let me know. And I will also be adding a special bonus. If you do sign up through my links, I will be having a special bonus around how to be heart-centered and be prosperous and make money. How do you do that? So that's going to be a 2-part bonus. And I just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you, no matter what you're doing in the world. Thank you for living from your heart, from your soul, for being your You-est You. I love you. All right, Marie, I'm so excited to have you back. You're one of my faves. I've always loved your energy since, God, it was over a decade ago when I found you, and I was still in my corporate job. Actually, it was 11 years ago. It was before I left. And I remember I would close the door during lunch and would watch Marie TV and was like, I don't know how this is going to happen, but I've got to do something more purposeful. I've got to follow my heart, my soul. I don't even know if you know this. I actually applied to be a customer happiness specialist.
I did not know that.
And I made it almost to the very end. And then I was like, God, thank God, I would have loved to have done that with you. But I was like, if I'd done that, I wouldn't have continued to pursue what ended up being my career, this whole world of spiritual entrepreneurship. So we're talking today because honestly, you have guided me and mentored me from afar, from near, with your heart, with your work, with your woo, and your B-School. Honestly, that was huge anchor. I got a master's degree in coaching. I was like, I'm ready to take on the world. What the F? Like, we didn't learn a thing. They didn't teach us a thing. I had 2 years. It was an amazing program. I highly recommend it to people, but it was, and I now certify coaches. I teach coaches how, from a spiritual angle, from how to be a life coach. And this is something that I think is important is, what do you do once you have finished the certification, the thing, or you have the idea? That's where, just for everyone to know, Marie, you came in and it really changed my career, my soul path, my life. So we're talking today.
Yes.
About all of these things.
I want to acknowledge that for you and for everyone. It's like there are really 2 aspects to almost any livelihood, any calling, any career, any mission. There is the craft of what we do in terms of coaching, in terms of all of the incredible skills that we need to develop and to cultivate in order to work with people and support them in transformation, right? And that's its own body of work. And then how do you actually run a business doing such a thing is an entire other body of work and it's an entire other understanding. So I just wanted to underscore that none of us are deficient, but it takes time to be able to build those skill sets, and they're different and they can be very interwoven, which we're going to talk about today because they do dovetail very nicely, but they are distinct. So if you're feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm so ready to help people, I'm so ready to serve people, but I don't know what the F to do next. Like, how do I actually do this as a side hustle or a business or a big business? You're in the perfect place and we got you.
I am so glad you said that because I'll tell you, I think, and I see this with many of my students that become coaches, with myself, there is this feeling of like, OMG, like, my God, no one told me. Now there's the whole, like, how do I put this into practice? How do I make this a livelihood? Not just, and a lot of, I'm going to say this, anyone listening, and I know is big hearted, and many of us are like, I just want to do this for free, which is lovely. I know for me, there's been one person out of the hundreds I've taught that is doing it for free as like a tithing. But most of us, we want that to be our livelihood. This is not a skill that many of us have or been taught. So would love to dive in because I know you are masterful in such a heart-centered way of helping anybody that is looking to take their heart and put it out there and be of service in a way that is not overwhelming, but really fills in the gaps. And maybe you can just talk, I know B-School has iterated, you've added to it. Maybe start there. That would be a good place.
Yeah. And just to give a little bit of context, I started as a life coach. So I am very much, this is where I came from. And I remember my specific training, there actually was a little bit of business in there, and they made it very, very clear. In order for you, meaning anyone listening that was in that training, to make the impact that you were hoping to make, you not only need to be a great coach, you need to be a great business owner. And that was like a light bulb for me. And so when I started back in 2000, so going back again, 24 years, I really had to search far and wide to understand, well, how do I start a business? And I was always very clear, Julie, I did not want a traditional business, meaning, back in the year 2000, having like an online company or a digital distributed business was not really a thing, but it was a thing in my brain and it was what I wanted. So I say all that because when I went out to business conferences and when I did all of my research and read all the books, I was really struck because I would go to these different conferences and not exclusively, but mostly, a lot of the instruction I was hearing around small business was very devoid of heart. It was very devoid of soul. It was about, how do you extract as much profit as possible? And it felt very much like we're going to shake people upside down and just, it's super aggressive. And I was like, God, this doesn't feel good. It feels awful. Yet I started to pick up some skill sets. And then I started to hear from people because I was also in fitness and health and dance. People were asking me like, how are you growing this business? Like, how are you actually doing this? And you seem normal and you're not crazy and all this stuff. And I would say, you have to understand online marketing and business. And I say all this because there was a huge gap in the marketplace. And I said, I want to teach people who are like me, who don't have an MBA, who don't have access to trust funds, who don't have tons of connections, how they can take something they're passionate about and build it into a meaningful, profitable business in a way that's aligned with their heart and their purpose and their soul, because that just didn't exist. Now we've helped over 80,000 people, just like us, big-hearted people, start and grow businesses in a way that is in complete alignment with their value systems, their desire for abundance, and their desire for high service. So I just wanted to state that. You asked me now about how it's evolved. So after having 80,000 students, you learn things. And after being not only teaching about this world, but running a successful online business for now, just about 24 years, you learn a lot. So I've had an incredible opportunity to be able to every single year kind of change things around in B-School, adding tweaks. We have this enormous, we call it the answer vault, with like all of the top questions that people have asked me over the years. And I'm very, very diligent about teaching people principles and tools, practices, mindsets, consistency, skill sets that are timeless. I've watched the internet changed. I've watched how platforms have shifted. And I would say, and you can attest to this because you're a B-School student, every B-School student has access for life, 95% of what we train in B-School is timeless. It is platform agnostic. It is about understanding the principles that will help you connect with the people that you're meant to serve, inspire them to say yes, deliver outstanding services, creating raving fan customers, having high profit margins, building a business that is custom fit to you. And that doesn't matter if it's TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or podcast or the gajillion other things, anything related to AI. All of it is still in practice, and it's actually more important than ever. And then the one next thing I'll say before I hand the mic right back to you is I think it was like less than a year and a half ago, I actually took the entire program, re-looked at it. I actually made some major changes in terms of the order and the sequence that I thought would help our students go through it more effectively. And so the entire program is brand new. It is completely updated. I consolidated it, just like a good sauce that you leave on the oven. You're like, you know what? I think this is going to get a little more rich. It can get a little more dense. I can get it even more potent and powerful. And that's what we did. So every tool, every idea, every example is fresh, it's new, it's updated, it's powerful.
This is one of the things I love about you. First of all, when I was in B school, this was almost a decade ago. I mean, it was excellent then. And I'm like, how the heck would you even make it better? I've seen some of the tweaks. I do love that we have lifetime access. And I think, it's something I've seen just having my own certification. Like you get feedback. I'm like, I've not had 80,000 students. You've had 80,000 students from all over the world. And something I think that's important because I know a lot of our beautiful, I think of them as soul sisters and brothers that are listening. We're people that want light workers. We want to make a difference. We want to make an impact. And for me, part of what I'm doing here, Marie, is it's so important to me to give all different avenues and ways for anybody that's like, I have a mission, I have light to share, I want to up-level consciousness, I want to make a difference, whether it's through coaching or Reiki or healing or whatever, as an artist. And what I love, and this is why, we're so aligned, is you come from a place of heart and of soul, and you've been doing this. So I think this is an important, maybe we can talk for a minute. It's a little bit, I think, in track with what you said, but this intersection of where you can do what you love, you can follow your heart and soul, and you can be abundant and prosperous and help people and make money. And that's one of the things. Recently, actually, I had one of your friends, Laura Belgray, who I love, and we were talking about this, right? We're talking about, she's done a lot with writing copy, and I know you've worked together, and that importance of it's okay to help others and to make money because it's hard to serve if you're not feeding yourself and nourishing yourself and paying yourself. And that's the thing I think is missing for many of us, especially for us coaches, conscious coaches. Like, how do you do this? So maybe just to talk for a moment, because I think that can be a little bit of a little place
for stumbling block. Oh, yeah. No. I mean, well, look, in the world that we're in right now, where current culture stands, there is so much misinformation. There is so many old, outdated, toxic beliefs around scarcity specifically, and around money and around spirituality. And how if you're actually being of service in the world, well, how can you get paid? And you shouldn't take money. I was at an event, I think it was probably a little over a year ago, it doesn't matter, but it was like there were all these doctors and healers in the audience, and they felt so guilty. This was their biggest block, was about feeling guilty for healing others. And so a lot of those toxic limiting money beliefs, those are the exact kind of things that I help people dissolve in B-School. Because here's the truth, there is no lack. And especially for conscious coaches, especially for people who are heart-centered, you know this to be true on a deep level. And it's only been societal conditioning that is often rooted in fear and scarcity. And I believe scarcity is one of the most destructive myths on the planet that actually keeps people small. And wouldn't it be great if more people that had huge, big hearts and that actually really gave a damn about other people and us collectively, wouldn't it be great if they had access to more money flow? Wouldn't it be awesome if those were the people that had kind of bigger and bigger flows, both coming in and going out? This is a whole other topic for a whole other day, but I often train people and I talk about this in B-School. I love money. I don't worship it. I don't love it above other things. I don't love it to the exclusivity of my relationships or my other values like health or community or contribution. We've got all that handled. But the energy of love in and of itself is transformative. So I believe that love is the answer to every problem, including financial problems. So in B School, we teach you how to get really aligned so that you understand and you operate from a very rooted, real place that lack and scarcity is the destructive forces, generosity, contribution, connection, flow in all of those forces, and including in a financial way, that's where the real expansion happens. That's where the real growth is required. And it's scary. I get it. It's going to require some courage. But when you put yourself with me, with our team, and with our community, that's how we roll. That's how we operate.
And I'm so glad. Oh my gosh. Another time, maybe you'll come back. We could go way into scarcity and overcoming that because that's an important piece. And what I love and have always felt from you and your team is this just heart-centered support. Let's talk about I know you have the summer school edition and what the support looks like. And somebody who's like, I'm not sure, I'm thinking about it, I really could use this kind of support, what that actually looks like real time, because I have not seen another program yet that does it like you.
Yeah, so let's actually put some teeth to this. This has been our stance ever since I started the program back in like 2009. Every student gets lifetime access to B-School, meaning that you can come back and take the program again and again. We have the most incredible B-School mentor coaches. Now, I do want to be very, very clear. B-School is not a one-on-one coaching program. It is a group coaching program because I've seen over time that that's actually what gets people the most results, because having that collective, having that community, being able to see other people's questions, see the answers, see how everyone else is interacting, to watch their growth, to contribute to their growth, that's often what creates a lot more momentum than just a one-on-one situation. So I want to be clear about that. But my point is this. People who've taken the program all the way back to 2010, 2009, they still come back every single year because who they are evolves. We know this. We're all constantly evolving. How their business is growing is evolving. They come back to remaster the fundamentals, and they still get access to the same mentor coaching, the same support that they got on day one, and they never paid another penny. We take such good care of our students because I know what it's like to start from nothing. I know what it's like to start from less than nothing, from being tens of thousands of dollars in debt. And I know how scary it can be, especially when you lead with your heart, to have the courage to start a business like this. It takes a lot. And so that's why we deliver that level of support. And I think, our B-School summer school version, we just like to also have a lot of fun too. Joy and fun for me, that is part of the energy that will charge your business. It's part of the energy that makes life worth living. And the notion of summer school is like, let's get this done in a nice, tight package. Let's do it over a month together, walk you through it all, get you through not only the materials so that you have this enormous overview, but that you have access to these tools and resources for life. So we walk you through the program in a kind of expedited way, but there are coaches, there's myself, there's my team. It's like, we got you. We got you. So the support, in my opinion, is unparalleled for the investment. It is literally, you learn a skill set that pays you for life, and you can keep coming back and taking the program every single year that we have it live for free.
That's so amazing. I really want to pull from something you just said. I think you hit the nail on the head, right? So many of us spiritually aimed, heart-centered entrepreneurs, or those that are thinking about it. And I want to say, for someone who's like, I'm not sure, you don't have to know. You don't have to fully even know. I remember when I did it, I was like, all right, I'm not even, I've evolved. We evolved. So there's so much understanding for that. But I love what you said, that joy and fun are such an important part of your delivery and who you are. Which, going back again a little spiritually here, when you talked about, love being the answer, something we talk about all the time is our vibration, and how we are literally using our vibration, whatever we're doing at work, career, at home, business, and That is something that it's like sometimes you can't put your finger on it. I don't know of a device yet that can measure it, but one thing I've noticed about you, this is where I like got hooked on your Marie TV and what you were doing, and I was like, oh my God, this chick has so much fun.
You
She's
do.
dancing.
Yes, being a goofball, because look, it's like it's an adventure. We're on this train. We don't know when the stop's going to come or it's time to get off.
Yeah,
We might as well enjoy the ride. And that includes our business. Even
yeah,
though it might be a new skill set, even though it's like, oh, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm scared. No, we can have fun with this. This is about connecting with other humans. This is about sharing your gifts. This is about doing it in a way that's super true to you, that you want to be more of you, not less of you. You don't have to be some robotic corporate version. In fact, that'll tank your business in like a second, trying to be something other than what you are. And people are craving connection. They are craving authenticity, especially in this world of AI, where there's a lot of things that are automated. There's a lot of bots. It's like, when the hell can I talk to a human? And especially for this light type of work, whether it's a tarot card reader or a healer, or you're in wellness, or it's spirituality, or it's some kind of coaching, this is critical for you to feel comfortable, to feel expressive, to share your joy and your light in such a way, especially if it's hard topics. And I think that's where we need the most light, and to do it in a way that's really fun and really you.
So for someone who's listening who might be, I'm just pulling this, these ideas, like integrative, functional nutritionist, getting into that world, or meditation teacher, or a conscious coach. I know many that have practiced, whether with me or others, or in the world of wanting to take, maybe they're doing a Reiki business or something on the side. Do you have any, I'm sure you have some examples since you've had to
Oh my God.
like how this has helped them, because
let's talk about that right now. So I'm looking at literally a list, and I pulled this because I knew we were going to have this conversation. And we literally have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of case stories. So I had my team pull the ones that are kind of leaning into exactly the kind of worlds that you're talking about. So this is someone who is a psychic medium and a teacher. So she was actually a third grade teacher for most of her life, but she had this calling and she knew that she had a gift. She said, not only was I able to make my yearly teaching salary in a month through my online programs and services, but most importantly, I'm able to serve more people. I've held retreats in beautiful homes on the beach with women from around the world. I feel honored to be the co-author of a best-selling book featured on radio shows, blogs, podcasts, and summits. Thank you, B-School. I'm looking at another life coach. She's like, I launched my coaching practice with only an opt-in page, like a very simple version of a website. And now 3 years later, I'm making $10,000 a month. So this was someone who started from absolutely nothing. I have Emily, who is the founder of Ziva Meditation. So she donated $120,000 to the Nature Conservatory and Together Rising. It was before Oprah, before Chopra, before Headspace that she got started with meditation. She used to be a performer. She has a multi-million-dollar business now with meditation. Another one, I just wanted to let you know that I've been doing fabulous. Some of us are quietly succeeding because of B-School. My business is thriving. I'm exceeding my income goals. I'm going to be a published author in November. And I have to say that my experience at B-School helped me move my career in amazing directions. She's a tarot reader. So I literally could keep going, Julie, like life coaches, money coaches, mindful parenting coaches, so many spiritual life coaches, hypnotherapists. We have tons of people in health and wellness in terms of functional medicine, every kind of doctor that you could possibly imagine. I mean, the list goes on and on. So if people are interested, you can share the link. They can write to our team. We're happy to surface them for you. But from folks who I loved that quietly thriving, you know what I mean? Just like doing their thing. And the other folks who are like, I want to make multiple millions of dollars, we have the spectrum.
Yeah, that is awesome. I'm laughing because Emily, I think, asked me to do a meditation on Ziva. I was like, I know that. I know her platform.
Yes.
It's so cool.
Talk to Emily.
So cool. I love the quietly thriving. Let's just talk for a minute, because I know for you, you've really built this. I mean, from the ground up. You were not handed anything on a silver platter. And I think that that's really inspiring for somebody who's like, I mean, just starting from, I know for me, I started from zero. I mean, literally zero. You did as well, Marie. Maybe share for a minute, your background, just a little bit, and how you've tapped into the power of heart and inspiration and service and desire to grow something. And yeah.
Yeah. So, I didn't grow up with a lot of money. My parents worked their buns off, Italian American. I remember sitting around in our home in New Jersey, plastic cover couches. Many of us have that. I'm the first one in my family to go to college. So, higher education was not really a part of my background. And I remember being on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange on Wall Street, New York City. I was so grateful. That was my first job out of school. And, I was just happy that I had a paycheck and health benefits. And I was like, this is the best thing ever. Except it wasn't. Like about, a couple months into that job, I would show up and this little small voice would appear in my kind of mental theater and go, Marie, this isn't who you are. This isn't what you're supposed to do. This isn't who you're meant to be. And I was like, shh, stop. I don't have a plan B. You know what I mean? Like, come on, I got to stick this out. And after hearing that voice again and again and again, I remember there's one day I showed up on the floor and I started, Julie, feeling sick physically, like to my stomach. Like I felt a little bit dizzy. I couldn't breathe. And I said to my boss at the time, I said, hey, is it okay if I go run out and get a coffee? And he's like, absolutely. But I didn't go out to get a coffee. What I did is made a beeline to the nearest church, Trinity Church downtown, because I was raised Catholic. I had just gone to a Catholic university and I was just trained that in a crunch, you ask for some guidance, higher power. And I just felt so devastated because this voice would not be quiet. This voice kept telling me that I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. However, the voice didn't tell me what I was supposed to be doing instead, and that was terrifying. But the message I did get was call your dad. Because being the first in my family to go to school and because of how hard my parents worked to put me through college, I felt incredibly guilty that I was even considering quitting this job because there was no other way to support myself, but I felt like I was dying a slow death there. And so I called my dad and I was doing the ugly cry. I was on a flip phone, which tells you it's like 1998. And I was like, Dad, and this snot's coming out of my nose. And when I finally took a break, he said, Ree, you've been working since you were 9. I'm not worried about you keeping a roof over your head. Let me just tell you the secret to life. You're going to work for the next 40 or 50 years. You have to find something you love because once you find something you love, you're never going to feel like this again. And Julie, that was really my permission slip because even though my dad didn't tell me how to find something I love, there was a little voice inside of me that knew he was right. It rang true. And the only things that I knew were that I loved small business. He was a small business owner, but I also loved this world of creativity. And so I tried to figure out, well, what the hell does that mean? Like, okay, I don't want to be on Wall Street anymore, but what am I supposed to do instead? And the next thought I had was to somehow combine art and creativity. It was like, I know, women's magazines. So I was in New York City. And so I went to a temp agency. I said, get me in at any magazine. They got me a position over at Gourmet Magazine in the ad sales department. And I was like, oh my God, this is great. First of all, I love all humans, but Wall Street at that time was 99.9% all men. And I was the only woman. So it was a very kind of unbalanced, unintegrated environment. And at this Gourmet Magazine, all of a sudden, all of my bosses were women. And I was like, this is cool. This is different. And I showed up and was trying to do my best. I was like, okay, this is a cool new environment. But Julie, that voice came back again. Marie, this isn't who you are. This isn't what you're supposed to do. This isn't who you're meant to be. And I started feeling panicked. I was like, what's the problem here? I want to work. I want to make a difference. I want to find my place in the world, but I keep wanting to quit. And I thought, well, maybe Wall Street was a little too numbers focused. The ad sales side of any magazine, it's very quota focused numbers. What if my creativity is starving? So I went to the HR department. This was part of Condé Nast Publishing, the big publishing house. And I said, hey, if you have any spot open on the editorial side of any magazine, I'll take it. Even if I have to take a pay cut, I'll take it. A few weeks went by and they had a position for me at Mademoiselle fashion magazine. On the edit side, I was like, this is it. I'm going to be with all these cool people. I'm going to be working with designers, going to fashion shows. This is my career. This is my life. So I started that job. And of course, it was great at first. And then within like 3 months, that whole voice came back. And I was like, what is wrong with me? Marie, this isn't who you are. This isn't what you're supposed to do. This isn't who you're meant to be. And Julie, at that point, I was like, am I broken? Because all of my friends, all of my colleagues, they were going on to build real lives. They were getting married. They were having kids, like all the things. And here I was kind of quitting every job and going like, I don't understand what's happening. Then one day I was online, probably when I shouldn't have been, and I came across a new profession at the time called coaching. Again, you have to remember this is 1999. No one had heard of this before. And when I read about this new profession, it was as though every light bulb went off. The clouds parted. There was little angels that came out and we were like, ah, like this is what you're supposed to do. But in my mind, I was like, oh my God, you're 23 years old. You're in tens of thousands of dollars of debt. This sounds like the cheesiest, stupidest thing you've ever come up with. Who the hell's going to hire a 23-year-old life coach? You haven't even lived life yet. So what I did was I signed up for training, coach training program. At that time, it was all done via teleseminar because that was the only technology that existed back in 1999. And I continued to work at the magazines during the day. Then about 6 months later, I got a call from HR. They had a promotion for me at Vogue. And this was my fork in the road. You either go on, work at the top fashion magazine in the world, doing something that people understand, that, you know what I mean? It's very prestigious, it's very ego-based, but it's cool and it's fun. Or you quit and do this weird ass life coaching thing that no one has ever heard of, but from a soul level felt more right than anything I had come across in my life. I had no idea how to do it. I had no idea what it even meant. All I knew was that my soul and my intuition was screaming to do it. So I didn't say yes to Vogue. I quit my job. I started bartending and waiting tables, which is what I did to help put myself through college. And I figured out how to build a coaching practice during the day. And in that process, like I was talking about earlier, trying to figure out how to actually help people is when I really understood that in order to make the impact that I felt that I was here to make on this planet, that I had to master the ability to run a coaching business. And because I didn't see anything out there that was helping me in the way that I wanted to be helped, that's why I created B-School. And that's where this whole entire thing came from.
Oh my gosh, I got chills literally shoulder to legs. I love your story. I forgot this part about Vogue, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, holy shit, that's a big ass decision to say no. I'm like, girl, what were you thinking? But obviously, what were you thinking? You weren't thinking, you were connecting in, you
I
were
was
listening. Yeah.
Yeah.
We talk so much here. This is a lot of what we do. And I teach is around intuition. And it's just beautiful. Again, such alignment. It's one of the reasons I've always just loved you, is your story, listening, trusting, tuning in. We don't always have a linear path, and you made that hard decision. And what I love is organically you've created I'm one of the most the best program I know of on this planet that really can help people that want to make an impact, that have light to share, that want to be of service. That's who we're talking to. I know someone's here listening. Like attracts like. They're here. They're we're all in the same family here. We're all in the same team with the same jersey. That's like team, light worker.
Love.
Team love. There you go. I was going to say love worker. That doesn't sound as good, but love. That's better.
Yeah.
Team.
We get the essence. Yes.
Let's be the love. Team love. Yeah, exactly. I know we're going to wrap in a moment. I, from my heart to yours and to everyone listening, I'm so grateful that you were courageous enough. It took so much courage, because I'm thinking back, I'm like, shoot, if I'd been offered a Vogue, like that took courage. And what you've created today, and I can say this from my experience and knowing you, is it's next level. And there's such heart and soul. And you really, you bring that. The other thing is, of course, you're someone who's into as a coach, I know, eternal growth. And your program grows with you. And it's just so cool. I love the business, B-School Summer Edition. I think that's so fun. And just really grateful that this is an option. I know for so many people I know that want this support, it's like, hello, it's here. And you get it. You've been there. You've done it.
Yeah. And I'll say this too. And I understand how scary it can be on every level, how scary it can be personally, how scary it can be spiritually, how scary it can be financially. And that's why, B-School comes up with a money back guarantee. Lots of MBA programs do not. It's like you can come test drive B-School. If this feels right to you and you're like, I think it's the right thing and I really want to do this and I really need this curriculum and this support and this skill set and these disciplines and these capabilities, you can take a look. Julie will share a link with you. Everything is very clear and transparent. But if you get into B-School and you give it a try and you actually do it and you submit your homework and you're like, this isn't for me, you get all your money back. You get all your money back. You just have to pay attention to the dates. You have to just, again, be a good human, read and follow. But we only want to work with people who we're meant to serve. We only want people in the program who are in 100% and they feel aligned. That's why we have that, because I know how scary it can be and we want to take care of people.
Yeah. That's awesome. And I personally think it is crazy affordable. Like you MBA, and I know many people have them, great. That is a whole other cost situation. This
Yes.
I love that. I love that you have that. And you really live your values. Like I just know that. I know from working with you, from being part of this, and so grateful. I think this, I just from my heart, I get a lot of comments and questions and emails and comments about, how do I expand my light? How do I do more, be of greater service
Yeah.
and feed myself? And I really believe this is, hello, if you're looking for a sign, this is a sign. I will have all the links and information for everyone listening and in the description. We have a little party over on YouTube. We'll have it there. We'll have it in the show notes. Like you can get all of that info. I'll make sure to have that so that you can find out more because it's really powerful. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And thank you for the work that you do. And it's like we need higher, all of us know this, everyone listening knows this. We need higher consciousness in the world, and we need folks with higher consciousness to have success on every level. On every level, right? To be able to really live from that place of fullness that you know is true in your heart. So we want to match that interior knowing with your external reality. And those are learnable skills. The book, Everything Is Figuroutable, that really is the truth. So if your heart is calling you to turn this incredible idea, this calling into a profitable business, small business, medium, or large, the playbook is there. It's just a new skill set you need to learn. And if we're aligned, we would love to have you join us.
Beautiful. Last really quick fire question. I like to ask this question. Such a fun little made up word, but it's powerful. I love to ask, what is being your You-est You? What does that mean to you and in your life?
To me, it means continuing to allow myself to be witnessed, having as much fun and as much joy as I feel on a consistent basis. I'm always still too like, am I allowed to have this much fun? Can I be this goofy? Can I do this and that? So it's continuing to actually be that and allow all of my joy to be witnessed and shared.
Gorgeous. Oh my God, I love it. Thank you. That was beautiful. And amen to that, sister. Aho. Yeah. I'm like, let's witness it and let's bring up the joy vibe. I'm all with you. That's awesome.
Yay.
Awesome.
Thanks, Julie. Thanks for having me. And thank you everyone for listening. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Marie. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, soul brothers and sisters, for being here. We'll have all the information. Thank you for being part of this community and being your heart-centered soul self, your You-est You. It is needed in the world. We love you. Sending you so much love and light. Hey, my friend, before we end, I wanted to share with you that if you are a spiritual entrepreneur, if you have a business idea, or you really want to just make this the year that you start making a profit, doing something that you're in love with, that's your soul's purpose, make sure that you check out Marie's B-School Summer Edition. I have the links below. She's giving a free webinar to learn some of her favorite secrets in how to be profitable as a soulful entrepreneur, or just go right to the program page and you'll get all the information. Sign up is within the next week, and you will begin your summer edition of B-School by the end of July. It is such a fantastic program. I went through it 10 years ago. That is why I am very proudly a partner in this program with Marie, because I believe in it, because it helped me so much. She's the real deal. She's worked with 80,000 soulful entrepreneurs. That's a lot of people. And she's built her own beautiful, very successful business doing what she's teaching. So if you're interested, go check out the links below for the webinar, the program page. And if you do sign up through me, I'm going to be offering 2 very special bonuses. We're going to be meeting twice to workshop together in a very intimate setting with coaching and guidance around how you can take your heartfelt, your spiritual based purpose, your business, and make money, make sacred money. I'm going to help you to do that from a very aligned and soulful way. So check out the links below. And as always, so much love. Before I forget, here is the link where you can learn all about B-School Summer School Edition. Go to juliereisler.com/B-School-enroll. Again, juliereisler.com/B-School-enroll.